It's no secret that Frisco, Texas is seen as one of the best places to live, not only in Texas, but in the entire US. And everybody talks about it. You know, between all of the awards they're given, the great places to shop and dine, the school districts, there are a lot of pros to living in Frisco. But there's also some downfalls, and not everybody talks about it. Well, in today's video, we're gonna dive into the true list of pros and cons of living in Frisco, Texas. So if that's something that you're interested in, let's jump into it right now. What's up everybody, my name is Michael Caraway. I'm a realtor here in the Dallas, Texas Metro, and if this is your first time to the channel, make sure to tap that subscribe button, hit the bell so you're notified every single time that we publish a new video to this channel. Man, I'm grateful to work with people just like you looking to make a move to the Dallas, Texas Metro, and if that sounds like you, if you're looking to move now or a year from now, reach out. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, days, nights, or weekends. I'm here to add value to you, make sure you land in the right spot here in the Dallas, Texas Metro. All right, so when people like you start to research, what suburbs they want to live in, specifically in the north side of Dallas, Frisco tends to make it towards the top of the list for a lot of people. And, it's no surprise because, if you look up any top lists about the Dallas, Texas Metro, Frisco is always towards the top, if not always number one of places to live. But like I said, there are also some downfalls, and we're going to cover both today. But I want to jump into, what some of the positives, the pros are of living in Frisco, Texas. So let's get into that now. One of the first pros that's always brought up to me is just how new everything is. If you drive around Frisco, it all looks brand new, and for the most part, everything was built 1990 or later. So you are getting a lot newer stuff than you would compared to like a Plano, or if you were to get over to Richardson or Dallas, it's just newer. So you're gonna have a lot more new construction communities in Frisco, like Edgestone or Hollyhock. Those are some beautiful communities. The Grove is another new development community where they're still actually building. A lot of them started, 2017 or later. So you're able to get into a newer house in Frisco. The shopping centers, places like the Star or Stonebriar, were all relatively new and beautiful, well-maintained places to just go hang out, shop, dine, all that kind of stuff. So you were just able to enjoy all of the new amenities more than you would in a place like Dallas or Richardson or some of the other communities around. The second pro I hear all the time is just how great the schools are. Now I want to preface this with saying that you should do your own research on schools, no matter what community we're talking about. I've heard greatschools.org is a great place to do that, but there's other resources online that you can jump into and hear not only reviews from the students and teachers and all that kind of stuff, but also into like state level statistics on tests and stuff like that. So use your resources when it comes to schools, no matter what suburb we're talking about. But according to greatschools.org, 80% of schools in Frisco ISD rank above the average in comparison to the state of Texas, which is huge. And along with that, there is a 99.4% graduation rate. And one of the most unique things about Frisco is their student to teacher ratio. There's about a 15-to-1 ratio, 15 students for every one teacher in the Frisco school district, which a lot of people do like. The third pro about Frisco is that there is an unreal amount of things to do in the area. You've got celebrations that happen every single year, like the Frisco Fair or Oktoberfest. Those are always a good time. You've got destinations like Stonebriar Mall, you've got the Star, you got the Rail District, all places that you can go, get some shopping, some dining, and just have an overall good time. You don't have to leave Frisco to go get good shopping and dining. It's all right within the borders. You can watch live professional sports literally year round. It's a huge reason why Frisco is called Sports City USA. If you wanted to watch some minor league baseball one day, you can go do that. If you want to go watch professional soccer another day, you can go do that. There's just a ton of sports that you can find in this community. If you have kids, there's tons of activities to do. Between all the parks that you can go visit, or places like Nerdvana or Kidzania, you can just get out as a family, enjoy the town, and mix it up all the time. You don't have to do the same thing over and over. You've got a really wide variety of things that you can do without leaving Frisco. The fourth pro of living in Frisco is just the sheer amount of master plan communities that are in the area. Now, master plan communities aren't for everybody, so take this with a grain of salt. But if master plan communities are for you, then you'll find some of the better ones here in Frisco. Some of my favorites are Edgestone, Hollyhock, Phillips Creek Ranch, and the Grove. All are on the newer end. And if you are looking for a more established community, somewhere like the Trails is going to be a great spot for you, where you get the little more mature trees, but you still have the amenities of a master plan community, like sidewalks that are sidewalks and trails throughout the community, tennis courts, golf courses, pools, things like that. You'll find a lot of those types of communities here in Frisco. The fifth pro to living in Frisco is the business community that's being built here. Frisco is unique because there's a really, really strong small business community here, but it's also attracting these mega corporations here, and a lot of people are moving their headquarters to Frisco. For example, the PGA of America is moving their headquarters to Frisco, up north, just south of 380. And it's going to be this amazing place up there. It's going to have a lot of golf courses, resorts, things like that. They're going to be doing other shopping centers up in that area. And tons of headquarters are announcing every single day that they're moving to Frisco. There is going to be a ton of places to work here within Frisco without ever having to leave. And it's just going to continue to make our business community stronger. And the last pro that I want to talk about is just how close Frisco is to some of the other communities that have really cool destinations. Within 15 minutes, you can get a lot of places like Legacy West, which is a really high-end, super, super well done little town center that you can go check out in Plano. There's the Boardwalk, which is this strip of restaurants that you can go. They have these huge patios that overlook this water feature. So if you're looking to go get a beer or just have a nice meal at night, you can go there and enjoy a nice view. And one of the cool things is too that you can go in, you can actually order a drink from the bar and then take it out onto the boardwalk, and they've got like these little fire pits and chairs that they have out that you can just go hang out with friends. So it's a really, really cool spot that they're just kind of building community around. So check that out. Grandscape is another great spot to check out. There is a ton going on there. You can go-kart racing, you can do a Ferris wheel, you've got all sorts of shopping and another little town center right there, and an unlimited amount of places to eat. Nebraska Furniture Mart is also over there. So once you do move here, if you're needing to get some furniture and things like that, that's one of the popular spots to go get furniture. And then there's also a Scheels over there. So if you're into sporting goods, if you need to get some running gear or whatever that might be, Scheels is an awesome place to go over in Grandscape. But like I said, it's not all rainbows and sunshine for Frisco, and we're gonna dive into some of those cons about living in Frisco now. Now I am gonna talk about more cons than I did pros of living in Frisco, just because, if you go online and you look at the pros, you're gonna find a ton of those about Frisco. But it's worth diving a little deeper into the cons just so you have a better feel for both sides of the argument here. The first con is not exclusive to Frisco, but the Dallas, Texas metro in general, and that is the heat. In August, the average high temperature is 95.9 degrees, and the heat index gets all the way up to 111.4. So it can get really hot here. The nice thing that I'll say is that it's not as humid as other places like that you might find in Florida or places in the Midwest, like Iowa or Illinois or Wisconsin. Those are very, very humid. And growing up in Iowa, I can speak to how humid things got there from the cornfields. It was crazy. But it's definitely more comfortable here in the summer than it is in some of those places. So that being said, it does get hot, and July through August is going to be hotter than you're probably used to right now. But just know that the rest of the year, for the most part, is very, very nice. I will say that the fall is my favorite time of the year. You get out of that heat, but it's still warm enough to go outside with a sweatshirt and hang out and enjoy that fall weather. But just know that you are getting into some heat here. The second con is the monotony of suburbia. So a lot of people speak about how everything looks the same in Frisco. You drive from one corner of the street down 5 blocks and you get to another one, it's going to look the same. There's going to be a Walgreens, a CVS, whatever. It's going to look like the same kind of architecture. And the reality is, it's kind of true. A lot of the development was done in a similar time. And as you know, a lot of chains kind of repeat. You have one street, you have your CVS, you have your Walmart, and you go down a little bit further and you're going to have your CVS and Walmart. So a lot of it does look the same, but it does look really nice. Like I said, one of the pros is that it is all newer, so you feel like you're in a nicer area. But the con of that, on the flip side, is that it does all look the same. So keep that in mind. The third con is that there's limited nightlife in the area. Now, there are things that you can go do, and there's places that stay open late and you can get drinks and you can dance and all that kind of stuff. but there's no like central area that you go where you can go bar hopping or things like that. You're gonna have to get into downtown Dallas to really experience that kind of lifestyle. The other con about living in Frisco, Texas is the cost of living. Now, generally speaking, Frisco is gonna share the same cost of living with communities like McKinney, Plano, or any other suburb that you find in the Dallas, Texas metro, but the one differentiator is gonna be the housing costs. The housing in Frisco is significantly higher than other suburbs. You know, the median home value, for example, in Frisco is $639,000 as of the time of recording. And compared to McKinney and Plano, you know, the median home value right now is about $530,000. So there's over $100,000 difference in that median value. So you are gonna be spending more money if you're buying a house in Frisco than you would be in another community. And the other thing to note is that the real estate market is a little more competitive in Frisco because you do have a lot of employers moving here, and Frisco is getting so much attention in the national news that it is just a really popular spot to move right now. The other con that I hear about all the time is that Frisco has a lot of small lots. Now, that being said, that is a pretty big generality and it's not necessarily the truth. Like I said, there are a lot of new development communities in the area, and developers tend to pack as many houses as they can into those newer communities. And because of that, you do get a smaller lot size than if you were gonna be building out, you know, in the country, for example. But that being said, it all depends on what community you're in and also what price point you're in. You know, you're gonna have bigger lots as you get into the $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 compared to your $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 budget. So just keep in mind that it varies very much throughout the community depending on those factors. But as you do get into some of those newer communities in Frisco that are lower price points, you are gonna have a smaller lot. Another con is that there's pretty much no public transportation in Frisco. You know, there's no light rail that you're gonna be able to use to get to downtown Dallas or anything like that. It's very dependent on a car here to be able to get from point A to point B. So if public transportation is important to you, then you may need to look at something that's a little closer to Dallas. The other con to living in Frisco is that it's not super walkable. You know, you're not gonna be able to have that urban lifestyle here that you would being able to live in a place like Dallas, Texas, for example. You know, you do have some pockets like Frisco Square or the Star, or if you get out of Frisco and get into Plano over by Legacy West, you know, there's opportunities in a small place to be able to, you know, walk to where you work and where you eat and drink and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, you're gonna have to have a car if you're living in Frisco, Texas, because it's pretty sprawled out. It's not all concentrated into one area. You have these different town centers. You know, there's a lot of opportunities to get into those different ones, but they're not in the same area, so you're gonna want a car. That being said, there are a ton of hiking and biking trails throughout the community that you can utilize. So if you are on bike and you're willing to walk a ways between the different areas, that could be an option as well. Now, when I create these videos, I not only, you know, give my opinion of what I've experienced in these areas, but I'm also looking online and trying to see, you know, what do the different blogs say? What do the people that actually live here say about the community? And the one thing that I didn't have noted down on my list personally, but that came up quite a bit online, was that there is some pretentiousness that exists in Frisco. Now, I can't speak to if this is true or not, but from what I was reading online, you know, because it is a little more of an affluent area, some of that pretentiousness may exist in some areas. Like I said, I can't speak to that, but it's something worth looking into a little bit more. Another con is that Frisco is not super close to downtown Dallas. Frisco sits about 28 miles north off of Dallas North Tollway from Dallas, Texas, and you know, you're gonna spend 45 minutes to 60 minutes commuting every single day if your job is down there. So that could take a toll on you. Maybe that's something you're used to and it's not a big deal, but you know, you are gonna have to spend a lot of time in the car if you're commuting back and forth every single day. That being said, if you're just looking to get down to downtown Dallas on the weekend to go to the zoo or Clyde Warren Park or something like that, you know, you may be able to get down there in as quick as like 30 minutes or so because traffic isn't as bad on the weekends. And maybe by now you're in love with Frisco and you're ready to move here, or maybe you're on the other side and you're like, there's no way, cross it out, I'm not gonna live there. Well, that's what I'm here for. You know, you tell me 2 to 3 things that you like and don't like, and I'm gonna get to work and try to find the right place for you. But the only way I can help you is you gotta reach out. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Days, nights, or weekends, I got your back in your move to Dallas, Texas. Until next time, I'll see you later.